A violation of social norms leads to an uncomfortable conversation. I discuss this and more on today's episode. Welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I found in my travels. Today it's Short Story Tuesday, so I want to talk about an interesting short story, one that focuses on a violation of social norms. I am referring to Trial by Combat by Shirley Jackson, which was published in 1944 in the New Yorker. I talked about Shirley Jackson on this channel before in at least two different stories. One is The Lottery, and the other one is that one short story about the horror thing that I'm forgetting the name of. Go check that out. She was a bit of a horror writer, Shirley Jackson. I don't need to go into that great of detail, but she was a horror writer, mostly known for The Lottery, which caused a lot of hubbub, suggesting that people often participate and prolong unjust systems without realizing it, because that's the way we've done things before, which sounds very familiar. And she also wrote a couple of books and whatnot here and there, really well regarded for her time, and a lot of her material. The Haunting of Hill House is what I meant earlier. A lot of what she wrote was turned into movies and TV shows later on, after she died. So I'm a big fan of her writing, even though I don't think I like The Haunting of Hill House, the book, that much. But I see the value in her work. But without further ado, let's talk about Trial by Combat. I will do a summary, a little bit of analysis, and we will move on from there. So Trial by Combat focuses on Emily Johnson. She is a young New York woman living on her own while her husband's in the military. And at the beginning of the story, she finds that finds that inexpensive, little baubles are being stolen from her apartment. It's not that much of an inconvenience, but it is a violation of social norms, and she wants it to stop. And she sees that someone leaving her apartment at one point, and realizes that it's most likely Mrs. Allen, a lonely widower in the same apartment complex, same building that she's living in. And so she decides to confront this woman. They have an awkward conversation where Emily says that she knows who's doing it and hopes that it will stop. Kind of an agreement between the two, without either of them actually saying what's going on there. However, the stealing continues, which upsets Emily even more, and she finally decides to call in sick to work, wait until Mrs. Allen goes downstairs, and then goes into her apartment, hopefully trying to steal something from her. Instead, she sees old family photos and whatnot, and comes to realize the isolation in which Mrs. Allen lives in, and I think she takes pity on her. And when Mrs. Allen comes back, Emily pretends that she was looking for aspirin this entire time. But I think an agreement or an understanding was made at that point, but we don't really find out if Mrs. Allen is going to continue stealing. But that's where the story ends there. In terms of analysis, there's a fair bit to talk about with Trial by Combat. One of the main things that Jackson is writing about here is the violation of norms, of social norms in particular. Mrs. Allen is breaking the social contract by stealing here. You generally don't steal from your neighbors, steal from people in general. Otherwise, that'll make people greatly unhappy because you're breaking the rules. And this leads to Emily's discomfort because she doesn't really want to confront someone about it. And especially because this person lives in the apartment complex. So if you're going to accuse them, you better be right, but also it's going to create some discomfort amongst neighbors there. She doesn't want to go to her landlady because her landlady is going to overreact, and all you really got to say is knock it off, stop it, and hopefully that'll make it stop. there's further discomfort with the allegations, because you don't normally want to accuse somebody in general, even if they are your neighbors. Like, the act of accusing another person of doing a bad thing makes you feel bad, because you have to be the bad person in that situation. And you can't really just accuse people again, like, to go around doing that's kind of, again, you're breaking the social norms. Even if you are right, you're still accusing another person, especially an older person. There's a sense of respect and amongst those kind of social norms as well. And at the end of the story, Emily breaks into Mrs. Allen's room, which again is another violation of social norms. But the question is, does that make them even? Is that what we're seeing at the end of the story? Shirley Jackson doesn't let on about what's necessarily going on in that instance, but it does seem like Mrs. Allen gets the full picture here and might not do it in the future. But it's also possible that she's going to continue to steal, because unless Emily directly says what's bothering her, maybe Mrs. Allen will just think that it's right, or will just continue to do it out of a desire to be a shit stain or something like that. Related to that, Shirley Jackson is also talking about social boundaries, and that goes back to the accusations and all of that and what's appropriate there. But there's also like a little bit of brief sort of overlying kind of element of Mrs. Allen's isolation. She has a dead husband. Her family's probably gone from her life, and she's living on her own. So there's that need for social contact, and maybe this is just her kind of reaching out, trying to create an opportunity to conversate with people down the road. Like, they're going to know that it's her, but Mrs. Allen just wants someone to talk to her, which isn't happening. And so you can maybe argue that that's probably part of the reason, but again, we don't really know the full reason there. I might just be guessing, maybe correctly. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Trial by Combat by Shirley Jackson. Don't really understand what the title is referring to, unless them confronting each other is a form of combat, and the trial is like accusing people or something like that. If you have a better explanation for what the title means, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, just say something about my review here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can find out about Shirley Jackson and this short story here, which I did enjoy, but maybe not as much as The Lottery. But it's really hard to beat perfection, and that's what I feel The Lottery is. But yeah, other than that, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and accusation-y travels. Farewell.